Hey
Hello.
everybody! Welcome back to Still Not Over It. I'm Hot Mama.
I'm still CM.
Let's get into it. So, what are we talking about this week? Does
Um,
anybody
th
like their neighbors?
for this week, we're bringing it back to our home state of Florida.
We are
Florida.
the
If you
boys
haven't
of
guessed
old.
that we're from Florida yet, I don't know what more we have to do to convince ya.
I guess you're not listening.
You're not paying attention.
Florida.
Go Gators. I don't even know the song.
Anyways, I know it's like our fight song, and I'm like, everyone should know it, and it's like, why would people know
I
it?
do know. Down, da, 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 da,
Yep, that's it. That's
da,
the
da, da.
song right there.
FSU, tap in.
No, FSU, get the fuck out of the chat.
Listen, we need anyone we can get.
No, I know, we know. We'll take all of our listeners. So, if you know anything about Florida, you know it's a place where stuff happens.
It is, and it has very. We'll get into it, but Florida
Let's
has
get into it.
very interesting laws, and in many ways, it's its own culture. It's sort of like it's
Is it?
yeah, I'd say so.
Absolutely. No, it is. It's like there's so many places where, like, I've recently been watching Rob Lowe's The Floor, shout out, and just what there's insane categories, and they'll be naming like, state capitals or monopoly places. And I think pronunciation of Florida cities would be so clutch, like Kissimmee, Alachua. Like, there's just a lot of places that if you've heard of
Okeechobee.
it, Okeechobee. Oh my gosh, just like seeing that word, and it's like if you're not from there, and I know California has places like that, Arizona does too, but Florida in particular has like a lot of like Native American esque words because that's like who the place is named for.
Yeah, the irony.
Truly, I
Taking
know,
something and being like,
truly.
we'll name it after you now that we've displaced
You
you.
can't stay though.
Fucking, it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, the whole state of California, all of like the
Yeah.
cities are like still Spanish names.
Yeah. Anyone
Anyways,
who's driven from I-40 east to west knows that the Trail of Tears is like the hottest attraction in several of our states. But it's not about those states. This is about Florida.
this is about
So,
Florida.
as two girls who grew up there, you know, so I first want to say The Perfect Neighbor, what I was drawn to is yes, the story, but also like the way it was pitched from Netflix was like, this is a really cool, innovative new way of storytelling. It's going to be not just based on a true story, it's going to be the story, and it's going to be told to you. There are some time jumps, but it's almost entirely made up of police department footage, body cam footage, ring footage from the neighborhood, cell phone footage from the neighbors. Like it's all cobbled together. And yes, there are some drone shots of, where that neighborhood is now. I believe it's Destin, Florida. But 95% of the film is through like you're almost looking through somebody's eyes, and I kind of feel like it made it. I definitely feel like the film was successful in being more emotional. I felt like it was happening in real time.
Yeah, and you feel like you know the people. Like it is. It's very like if any True Detective fans know that like famously True Detective has a scene that is one long shot. It was like they do that a lot now, but like back then when that came out, it was like crazy to see like this
No
one
cuts.
long no cut take. And this is sort of like reminding me of the sense of the continuity that you get through the body cam footage of it all. I think really makes it more visceral and you're really in it. Also, anyone who's ever watched like cop TV or like those shows where you like it's just like mostly through body cam footage.
Hmm.
It also like quickens the pace of it a little bit too.
Very much so, because that's how quickly it happened to them. And
Yeah.
a kind of fun show that I watch sometimes with my family is I Almost Got Away with It, where they also will tell you a story of a criminal, but they'll change a criminal who almost got away with it, as the name suggests, but they'll tell you the story through reenactments. And, sometimes they'll have like actual footage, but it'll just be a couple of seconds with no audio. And I don't want to say it cheapens the story because they don't usually choose like really intense stories. Usually it's about like theft or being on the run. They choose entertaining ones instead of like more sinister ones. But I can't say that having actors reenact it doesn't sometimes, cheapen the story. It does make it a little more silly. So seeing not actors reenact this story that we're about to tell you, but seeing like the real neighbors and family and community, very raw.
Yeah. Also, like just this side of like the legal process, because I feel like we see a lot of like courtroom dramas where it's like you hear about it in court, but like this being like the pre-trial of it all, and like you really getting to like get to know all of the victims, getting to know the perpetrator, and like it really, you know,
Yeah.
leaves no room for there's no room for any reasonable doubt, if you will.
Not one drop of it. And so who are these people? Let's take our audience to I would say a very normal average neighborhood in Destin. I believe they're condos. So we have this neighborhood, people live in condos, they rent the condos.
Yeah,
You
I
are
think they're
able to purchase them.
duplexes.
Oh, is that what it is? It's a duplex. So you're able to purchase like your land, your plot and your home. But if you want to rent, that's totally cool as well. So
Mm-hmm.
that's where they live. Tons of kids. Honestly, great neighborhood. If you have a elementary or middle school age child, top tier.
Yeah, lots of kids in the neighborhood. When for like my neighborhood in Florida when I was growing up, there was like a an era where like there were so many kids. Like my dearest one of my dearest friends at the time lived down the street from me. It was very like
The dream.
quintessential Florida childhood. Also, like one thing about Florida is you don't have the four seasons, so you play
Mm.
outside pretty much year round, except for like the middle of the summer when it's too hot. And I
When you
think
would literally melt.
yeah, but like being outside is like really just part of the Florida kid experience, like for sure. And
Mm,
like I feel like all kids in the South, but like because
definitely.
up
But it's
north
like
it's
air
like what you're
conditioning's
outside like.
expensive.
I feel like up north they're outside like for just the summer and then it's cold. But
Yeah.
Florida it's all year round, and I feel like that adds to the story.
They do say there is some research that suggests that the temperature in Florida plays a factor in like the road rage and the craziness. Some of it really is media laws in Florida. Like that is why everyone goes, "Oh, Florida man, they're so crazy." That same stuff is happening in your state. That same
Yeah.
stuff is happening in
Yeah.
Montana, Illinois, Kansas, New York, but
Yep.
we have really loose privacy laws about, what journalists are able to write about. They can basically everything is very accessible.
And
And
thus the Florida
so
man was born.
gave us a big old black eye. So speaking of people who deserve black eyes, let us introduce Miss Susan. Susan is a typical Florida Karen. She lives in the neighborhood. The documentary doesn't tell you who moved in first, but when she moved in, the neighborhood is flourishing. It's full of kids. They're playing sports like throwing the football, playing basketball in the front yard, hula hooping, like the most normal child activities that a parent could hope their kids were doing after school. It's
Team sports, go sport. Okay, go sport. Period. Best thing a kid can do is play a sport. If you're
no,
not
but it
playing a if
is.
you're not playing a sport, what are you doing?
Yeah, do you want to be a jock or what?
Yeah,
But,
period.
and so there's parents in the neighborhood. They're watching the kids play ball. It seems like a great neighborhood, to be honest, at
I mean, it's
first.
it's it's like clear that it's like middle to low income. Like everyone's very close. It's a very diverse neighborhood. And the kids play outside. And this is happens in many neighborhoods. And I also think it's important to note that I'm pretty sure pretty much everyone we meet is a renter, and
Hmm.
this woman Susan is a renter. So there's no ball and chain keeping her here.
Absolutely not. It's, if I had 1/8 of the issues that this woman has with her neighborhood, girl,
Move,
I would have broken my lease. Like, forget
move.
when the lease is up. I would have just been like, yeah, no. And, there is a point. So this woman, as in typical Karen fashion, is a big fan of, calling the police. And one of my favorite things about the documentary is you can see the perspectives of the different officers who are called. There's a man and a woman. I believe they're partners because they go out there
Mm-hmm.
and answer the calls recurring. And then there's another set of two women partners. And the man, I feel the male police officer probably does, as an audience member, I did not care for a lot of the things he said to the children and to Susan, but as someone who kind of understands what he's trying to do, which is stay neutral, he
Mm-hmm.
probably did the best job of staying neutral. The women are like much more favorable towards the children, and they understand, immediately that they're dealing with an unreasonable woman. And so you can kind of hear them in their body cam footage express some of how they feel about being called out there to see this woman for the same recurring issue, like every day, twice a day for months. Like she's just blowing up the phone. And what's her problem?
The kids
There's
playing outside. That's
there's kids
literally that's her
playing
beef.
outside, like with footballs. They're too close to my house.
She's
Are they on
literally
your
the
property?
Grinch. The Grinch. You wake up, children laughing outside. I'm calling the cops.
That's how we
Literally.
meet. We're gonna call her AJ because I believe her friends and family call her AJ. Uh, and that's exactly how we meet her. Is there's an altercation between Susan and AJ. AJ has been accused of throwing this like 99-cent yard sign that says private property, like in Susan's direction. Like no one's saying it hit her. Nobody even is saying that she tried to hit her, just that it was thrown in her direction. And it's kind of
Hmm.
like
That's what her first trigger. And then from there on out, she's like, "We're at war now."
it's you and me. It's like this is like, and it's not just AJ's kids. AJ has three kids, but all the kids in the neighborhood are, you know, being just endlessly tormented by this woman. And the neighbors made it very clear when speaking to the police it wasn't like this before. She doesn't, so she has an issue with the kids playing on an empty lot, like a big piece of grass that is parallel to her condo. It's not, so the condos, and this is specified in the doc as well, they don't actually come with any land. You're welcome to build on the land if you purchase a plot, but there's no assigned yard. Like it's a corner lot. And so that corner is empty. And there's another man on the other side of the lot, and he has no problem with the kids being out. He's, all the
He's a
parents have
normal
gone.
dude.
He's a regular guy, retired. He's like, I don't care if that he appears in the doc briefly and he goes, yeah, I don't care at all. I'm
Yeah.
glad they're out there playing sports together.
Yeah. Sports, go sports.
Never
Again.
had a problem.
Yeah. And I also want to note that like these kids aren't unsupervised. Like you meet all of the parents sort of like watch all of the kids. It's not like this is like, and also I want to note that these kids are like 7 years old, 7, 8, 9, little kids. We're talking elementary schoolers. Like
The
nothing,
oldest one is like 11.
yeah, like nothing to be nothing little like little girls and little boys like nothing like that could possibly be seen as like intimidating by no one would be intimidated by this like sure could you like be a little annoyed that like the kids are loud and like if you're really like really antisocial, sure. But like these are just little kids. Like they couldn't be more normal. Kids have been playing like this since the dawn of time. Okay. Cavemen children were playing like this. Like everyone, like it's so innocuous. Is that the right word?
Absolutely. It's like it's sinister how much this normal thing grates on her nerves. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like this is most parents' dream is like, yeah, the neighbors know each other. We have like a communal community watch type deal where the kids can just like get their wiggles out, play, have fun. And there's an adult being like, oh yeah, I see the kids. Nobody's in the street, nobody's getting hurt. And so it's like, this is an ideal community. Before this woman, Susan, moved in and started flipping out on everybody, they were just a really happy group. And so it's really a shame. And so, she files it as an assault. I think a battery technically, but there's no arrest made because
There's no
nobody,
evidence because it didn't
there's no
happen.
evidence. And also the male police officer says to her, like, nobody, we have no credible witnesses, meaning, one of the kids, like they go and speak to one of the neighbors and she's like, no, she didn't, AJ didn't throw that sign. And her daughter goes, well, she kind of threw it. And she goes, you know what I mean? Because she's like, girl,
Like
shut
no,
up.
no,
Not
like
now. Like
no, not
she's
now.
that little girl is so young that she probably knows like lying is bad, but nothing else. So she's like, oh, my mom probably doesn't know, and I should clarify. And it's like,
Yeah. And I want to say, even if she did throw this sign at this woman, a paper sign being thrown at you is not a big enough threat to someone's personal safety to justify the way this escalates.
it's also like, who cares? You know what I mean? It's like it's a stupid. She went and bought the sign at like a Lowe's. I could go out and buy a sign at Lowe's. Like,
I mean,
it
this
doesn't
woman
mean
is
anything.
truly like miserable. Like she's miserable. Like it's very clear she lives alone, has a lot of
Nothing going
cats.
on.
Nothing wrong with living alone and having cats. I'm not saying
As
that.
long as yeah, it's not her
I'm
lifestyle,
just
it's
saying
her
that it's not
behavior.
her lifestyle, it's her antisocial behavior and like she's just it's clear that she's so unhappy. And so I think that like I mean, we'll get into it, and I do feel like the thesis of it all is also to the fact that like these are children of color that are playing outside, and she's an old white woman. But even
Mhm.
more so than that, I think she's just a miserable person, period. And anyone annoying her would have, I will say that because it's like it's clear, and she like has a big victim complex. She like calls the cops for anything. Like, well, they were doing like I don't know. She's really like making these 7-year-old kids seem like they're masterminds. And the frequency in which she calls the cops, you know that if there was actual evidence against these people, she would have like 7 ring alarm door cameras that could like
Absolutely.
show us this evidence. And actually, we do see ring camera footage, I believe, right?
We do, but it's from I think it's AJ's house. It's not her house because she's constantly accusing the kids of things and videos and pictures.
Mm-hmm.
But the only pictures we ever see from Susan are pictures of the kids playing. She accuses them throughout different points of the documentary of leaving their stuff in her yard and ding dong ditching her and shouting at her and calling her names. And she admits to calling the kids retards on camera in front of the police and in front of
Mm-hmm.
their parents. And it's like, on what planet is it even? I don't care how loud they were like what she goes, yeah, I guess I may have slipped up and called him that. And it's
Grown woman, by the way, sick, like 57 years old.
like what?
It's
What
like you couldn't
what?
she couldn't keep that in. Like,
No, she's like they're out there screaming like retards, and it's like you cannot talk about children this way. Like,
and the kids are
girl,
like, yeah, she
move.
called us that. She called us that.
Yeah.
Like,
Like
yeah.
for playing football in the side yard. So, while this is escalating, she's constantly calling the police. The police probably know her number when it shows up. Every time she's out there, she wants the paperwork and this and that. Usually it's noise complaints. And finally, we get to hear a transcribed phone call from a business owner who lives near the neighborhood. Susan has this big 4-door, I think it's an F-150, this big truck, in case y'all couldn't picture this like heavier, older white lady driving anything else. That's right. It's a pickup truck. And it's like her prized possession. She's constantly setting the alarm off whether the kids are near it or not. She's accusing them of messing with her car, driveway,
Her
her
truck.
truck. She parks it on like in the grass where the kids play. Like the parents one time were like, "Hey, you need to leave this lady's truck alone." And they were like, "We swear we're nowhere near the car. She's just setting off the alarm. Come look." And one of the parents did. Like they waited. It's like every 8 minutes, like clockwork. She just sets it off and then calls the police. And it's like, the kids are messing with my car. It's like,
And then she said she parks her car not in her driveway, but in front of her house in order to block all the noise from the children. So,
it's like, dude, you're so crazy. So she's got this truck. Finally, this business owner calls the police and he's like, "Hey, I have this video. There's a lady like ramming her truck into my metal gate over and over again until I don't know how she got out. I think eventually she did serious damage to the gate. It must have released. But the business owner said this has only ever happened one time. It's a private lot, not available for public parking, whether you pay or not." And this bitch, like, somehow she found her way in here, couldn't get out. And instead of calling the number on the sign, he said, "This happened one time. The guy called me. I let him out." She just keeps, like, driving into the gate over and over again, damages. And so the police go to her and she's mad. She's like, "What? What? I'm sleeping. I'm in bed." And they're like, "Well, you need to come out here. We got to talk to you. Is this your truck?" And she's like, "Why?" And they're like, "Was
who's
it here all
asking?
who's asking? Where's it been?" Just so nasty to the police. And he goes, "Well, this business owner called me and you got locked. You did some serious damage to his gate. He wants someone to pay for his gate." And she goes, "Well, it did some serious damage to the hood of my truck."
And whose fault was that, Susan?
Who made you do that? Like, that's crazy.
So, like, from a baseline, we know she's not a rational woman. She's just
No.
not. She really, like,
Reasonable, never met her.
no,
Like,
she's, there's some, and, I
screws
always
are
say we
loose.
hate to diagnose, but I'd say there's perhaps a personality disorder happening. Maybe.
Maybe,
I don't
maybe.
know, but maybe. I'm no strength.
Something to think about.
Something to keep in one's mind.
Just keep it locked up back there. So she's not pleasant or reasonable when dealing with, like, she does just hate children, but it seems she also hates most adults. there's one point in the doc that we'll get to where you ever meet anyone who seems to be even a little bit friendly with her, and it's her, I believe it's her sister and her nephew. And they only show up the one time and when they're absolutely needed. So it's like she's just not a person who has people, and it's becoming really abundantly clear why that would be.
Why? An aside, I had a friend who was staying with someone, like a roommate situation, and this woman was an older woman. This is not woke of what I'm about to say. I have to say what I'm about to say is not woke. Okay, don't
Everybody's been warned.
everyone don't cancel me. Okay, this woman's like in her 40s, lives alone, and she was an awful roommate to my friend. Who, like, first of all, this woman didn't even need a roommate. She just, like, I think she maybe wanted the company. Anyways, she
That's
was
awesome.
awful to my friend, and I was like, "Is she single?" And she's like, "Yeah, like she's single." And I was like, "Well, now you know why." Like, sometimes you know, sometimes people are alone for a reason. Okay. I'm just saying, as someone who's currently
Truth
alone,
hurts.
like, I just do think that sometimes people are alone for a reason because they are insufferable and impossible to be around.
That's not true
That's
for
all.
you, but some people need a chance to grow, and Susan needed to grow.
And so, yeah, I don't know. Sometimes some people are alone for a reason. Okay. And that's the moral of that
Period.
story.
And that's that on that. But it's
So,
true.
yeah. So, Susan
She
is
can't get
very,
along with anybody. People she's wronged, people she's not wronged. Can't find that list, but just a generally unpleasant human.
she, like, clearly thinks that, like, everyone is out to get her. Like, she, like, she's one of those.
And when the police show up, this is where the name comes from. She's talking to the two women. She's like, those kids, they're screaming. I have a headache. I can't even lay it. So she's always exaggerating.
Many simple fixes to her issues.
Yes. Like,
Earplugs, Susan. Buy earplugs. Noise
put on
canceling
the
headphones.
TV.
As someone who can only sleep with an eye mask and earplugs in, I don't hear shit.
Yeah, how often are you calling the
I live by
police?
2 hospitals. I don't hear it at all because I have earplugs. Because I thought I put my thinking cap on. Okay, she needed to put her thinking cap on.
She
Okay,
clearly
sorry.
wants to be miserable, and that's like that's and
I
she
honestly
is.
think it gives her something to do. I think
It does.
harassing these children gives her something to do every day.
You're harassing the police at this point. Like they have things to
And
do. They can't just be at your beck and
all of
call.
the cops in this documentary are too generous and too kind to this woman.
They're
And
so polite to
they
her, and
listen
it's
to
like
they're on the clock. They're showing up just to listen to her, just to listen to
just for
this
that.
woman talk. She just wants to kiki with them.
And they show up to their credit a lot.
A
Like she
lot.
says one time, like, I didn't know if the police were gonna show up, but it's like, I don't know why you would think that. Because
And we'll get
they're
to that.
always at your door,
Yeah.
girl. And
They come
so
pretty quick for you, Susan.
yeah, they
Okay.
do. So one of the times that she calls the police on the kids and the two women come up and they're talking to her and they're trying to, one of them is a great advocate for the children. She's like, well, they are 8-year-olds, so they're making
So please
noise.
keep
Like
that in mind.
it's 5 p.m. It's not like we're talking about 10 p.m. This is like right after school hours, like the peak of wholesomeness. And so this woman is trying to convince the police they've got it all wrong and that she is being reasonable. So she goes, I'm like, gosh, I never bother anybody. I'm like the perfect neighbor. And the two police are like, once they walk away from her, where she goes, she gets cut off by her own body cam footage. She goes, man, what a. And it's like, love that. Love that the police have clocked this woman immediately.
I just feel like perfect neighbors aren't calling the cops all the time.
And they're also probably not calling themselves the perfect neighbor. Like I have very little interaction with any of my neighbors, and I'm not over here like I'm the perfect neighbor.
You know what's
what I
crazy? In
mean?
college, I lived in a neighborhood in a house with 5 girls that threw parties sometime, and we didn't. Did our neighbors our neighbors didn't call the cops on us, and we
Ever. They
probably
were like, oh, you're
deserved
young
it.
girls
Yeah,
having
they're
fun.
probably like, oh, college kids, whatever.
Yeah. There was
Not gonna
once
let this ruin my day.
Yeah, and my we had a house my brothers and I did in college, and across the street there was another house and other kids. My mom was up visiting us. They were like shooting a BB gun just like at bottles, and one of the BB guns ricocheted and chipped a little chip in my mom's windshield, and she was so mad. I was like begging her not to call the police. I was like, you just don't do that. Like,
Hmm.
I'll tell them to stop shooting the BB gun. I'll ask, but you just don't call the cops on other college kids. You know what I mean? And like she was mad, but she didn't call them. Like she was
Yeah,
like, you know, they're idiots. That's what happens when you're 19 and you're drinking beer on a roof. Like, and these kids weren't doing anything like that. You know what I mean?
These
Like,
kids weren't even those
that's
are
like
college
eight
stuff.
steps above what
Shelby,
was
Shelby,
happening.
Shelby, I'm not gonna lie. That story, I was like, okay, that
And
story, I
maybe
was
you should have called the
that
cops.
one. I'm like, okay, maybe. I mean, they were drunk shooting BB guns and damaging your property. Okay, three things that these 7-year-old children were not. Okay,
That's so funny. Okay, so maybe that's not the best example, but my
but
point is
Shelby's
it's just
like, if I
it's
didn't
not
call the
done.
cops, if I didn't call the cops for that, she didn't need to call the cops for this 7-year-old playing football.
Exactly. It's like there's just why wouldn't you just go talk to them? And so finally the parents make a rule for the kids like just don't engage with her because honestly the kids probably are calling her like the Karen and so she thinks that justifies all of
I'm
her
not saying these
behavior.
kids were nice to her.
Why would they be? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I don't know everything about like that age group of 7 to 12, but I do know that if you're jerks to them, they're not going to continue to be nice to you. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
why would they? What's the incentive? Like, you're
yeah.
never like the other neighbors, they wave, the kids wave, everything's great. All you have to do is not actively bully them. And she can't
Yeah, I want to keep it. I want
choke
to
it
note
in.
that like the whole neighborhood, they're best. They're all friends. They're all incredibly close to each other.
It's a
Like the New Yorker,
beautiful
like the New
community.
Yorker article said, this it does highlight the fact that some of us are really isolated from each other and some of us do still thrive in a community. And these people clearly have like a close knit, very tight community.
Absolutely.
So
Like one that I honestly think more people should aspire to. Like, if
yeah.
you don't know where your kids are, you know who's with them. There's an adult with them.
Honestly, I was like, this is kind of a beautiful, like in an age where like we're constantly being told that like children aren't playing outside anymore and
Hmm.
they're being raised on their iPads and like they're not developing social skills. It was kind of a beautiful thing to see like a group of like 6 kids that literally all they do is play outside with each other. I was like, this is what it's all about. Like it's beautiful.
Absolutely. You
And she
know,
was like, I can't
despite
have this.
obstacles, right?
Yeah,
Like she's making
yeah,
it hard for them and they're like, still, I persevere,
yeah.
you know?
This Karen of all
This
Karens,
Karen.
Queen Karen.
Yeah.
And so I do want to
So,
say she's called the cops dozens of times at this point, probably. She clearly is unhappy there. She is a renter. At any point in this story, she could have said, why don't I move? Okay. This is Florida. We've lived in Florida. There are plenty of 55 plus up communities, tons of them. Oh, there's
tons.
plenty of affordable ones. There's whole affordable 55 plus communities that she could have moved into. The point of 55 plus communities are for this very
They
reason.
all hate noise.
Those communities exist so that you don't have to deal with this. And she could have easily moved from that into one of these. Is literally in Florida. Okay. Perhaps the most 55 plus, I'd be willing to bet the most 55 plus communities exist in Florida.
Absolutely.
Undoubtedly, there's one in her county. I'm sure of it. And so the fact that she like didn't, she was so like antagonistic towards these kids that she couldn't just do that shows that I do think she was harassed at a point. She was harassing these people sort of like to give herself something to be angry about and like something to do.
For fun. Like it's pick on somebody your own size. That's way harder. Like pick on these neighborhood kids.
Yeah, let me pick. And it's bizarre. She was renting. She could have moved. I don't know why she didn't move. If it was so bad, so bad. If they were so awful to her, she should have moved, and she didn't. It's
And
like
it's not like they're not stealing packages. This takes place over more than the course of a year. So at some point she renews that lease. Like make it make sense.
no, it doesn't make sense. It literally makes zero sense. And her landlord, we hear from her landlord, seems like a very rational man. I bet he would have let her break that lease.
If it got her to quit calling him every day, probably, yeah, I would also have let her out of the lease, frankly.
Yeah, crazy stuff. Susan. Her name would be Susan.
Of course, right? It's like calling, and also her being offended by being called the Karen. It's like, well, maybe don't act like that, you know?
Yeah.
So we see a lot of the police body cam footage of them, telling her if
And you
you
know
have
what's
any
wild about this,
further.
Shelby? I would
Hmm.
say that I'll speak for myself, was raised by like a strict and tough woman. Love her.
Oh, so strict. My
Strict,
mom, but
tough.
also your mom was
Both of
strict.
our moms, very strict, tough. My mom particularly, very tough woman. She would have
Absolutely.
never, ever, ever called the cops on children playing.
ever. No,
ever.
they could have been screaming out your window, and she'd have been like,
Exactly.
"Hey, would y'all? Where are y'all?
The most she would do is like
Where are
call
y'all
her. The
from?"
most she would do is like be like, "Where are your parents?"
Exactly. Where are your parents? Like, where's the yard you're supposed to be playing in? Because I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure it's not mine. But
yeah.
that's not anything we need the
But
police
this
for. These are
doesn't have children,
8-year-old
does she?
children. No, 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 no. She has a nephew.
Not to be anti woke again, but
No, but
again,
she has a
perhaps
nephew,
like
and he's around that age when we see him.
yeah. So
He
perhaps
says
like
like one thing.
I don't, and I also don't think you have to have children of your own to understand that like children are loud.
They are, and it's like, guess
Like
what? Like if you are an adult, you were once a
you were a
child, and
child.
you were probably loud. I
Yeah,
promise you, you were annoying to someone. It's like
yeah,
that's just what it is. Like,
yeah.
and so, the idea that that these are the consequences that were visited upon that community and those children in particular, simply because they were trying to be kids, have fun, be loud, play football, like
Play
two-hand touch
football.
football
Play
in
football.
a
Football changes
patch of
lives. Okay,
grass.
we love football. Okay,
Clear eyes, full hearts,
can't lose. Let
can't
these children
lose.
play football for the love of God. And
Exactly.
I'm pretty sure it was like flag football. Like I
Oh,
just like
yeah,
it was
exactly.
so,
Flag.
and it was like boys and girls like mixed football. They were it-
Ideal community. Like
like
it's
like
so
literally
sad.
these kids are having an idyllic childhood. Okay,
They
and
were.
this woman has to ruin it. Ruin it. Oh God, I can't stand her.
So
So the meat and
AJ,
potatoes of it all.
yeah,
iPad
AJ,
gate.
iPad gate. We'll start with iPad gate. So it's a regular day in the neighborhood. You know, the kids have been told the most recent time the police came out there, one of the boys got a little puppy. And the Karen called the police and she's like, he's trying to put the puppy in my truck. And then the police go over and talk to some of the neighbors. And one of the neighbors is like, doesn't know the kid's name, but she's like, Africa, what's your brother's name? And she says it. And he's like, oh, that kid? Yeah, he has a puppy. Why? And she's like, oh, just like a little dog, which is what Susan described to the police. And he goes, little? Are you? No, the dog's bigger than him.
A
And the kid's
labradoodle.
like a Labrador. So the kid's like, he's 8. So he's probably like 4 feet tall or something. That's
Yeah.
a gigantic dog. They were like, he could not lift he would never do that
There's
in a
no
million
way.
years. And also, like, that doesn't sound fun. Like,
We have big dogs. We know. Okay.
let's put him in a stranger's truck.
As a proud owner of a 75-pound black lab, no one is lifting me and my
Not
big
unless
thighs.
she says so.
Yeah, no little kid is lifting no little kid is lifting that. Okay.
No.
Without like
No.
a ton of ruckus and all the parents coming out. Like that's just not happening.
Truly, like, and there's no way this man across the street was like, yeah, I supervised the kids lifting their dog in and out of the neighbor's street. You know what I mean? Like, he's out there with them, so it's all silly goofiness, and she never has any proof. So the police are getting tired of it. Like the next day, the two boys and their sister, they're all out in the neighborhood running around. But the two boys have a pair of roller skates that were allegedly left, in her driveway, in the street, whatever. So she comes out and throws a roller skate at one of these little boys, and he yells back like you,
Crazy.
which is yes,
Crazy.
first and foremost. I don't care if you were throwing it in his direction. If you didn't want that on your property, there's a million things you could have done
Yeah.
before that.
And if you've never held a skate, like an ice skate or a roller skate or a rollerblade, they're super heavy. Like she might as well have like thrown a brick.
A
Like they're
brick, yeah.
super heavy.
And to throw it at him, like
A
this is an
child's head.
8-year-old
She's throwing
boy.
this at a child's head. It's crazy.
Yes. So I guess this is nothing new to him because of all the Susan he's been dealing with. And he says, well, he tells his brother, and then he says back, like, you stole my iPad. I left my iPad out here and you took it. And they go back and forth about this, but the iPad is gone. So, she starts calling them names. She has called them the N-word before. I believe she does in this case. And one of the little boys turns to his brother, his older brother, and says, go get mom. Like,
Period.
we know
As it
that
should.
point. Yes, this is above our heads. Like, you need to go get mom. And she says, like, good, like, go get your mom over here then. And then she like turns around and locks herself in the house. So I don't know where all this bravery went or came from, but
She's really, really good at really yelling and talking to kids. The second another adult comes around, suddenly she's the cowardly lion. Okay.
can't deal with it.
Crazy.
Insane. So she locks herself in the house, calls the police. She's like, The
Her
kids are
favorite thing to
accusing
do.
me. Absolutely. It just retells the whole thing to the police and says, like, make sure you actually come in because often, their mother is outside waiting for the police
Also,
officer to
doesn't
show
she
up.
like steal one of the kids' iPads? Or did I imagine that?
No, she steals his
I think this is the
iPad.
same night too. Like this
Yeah,
is
that's,
all happening at once.
yeah, he yells back at her after she throws the roller skate, like, you stole my iPad.
Yeah.
And she's like, go get your mom. Um, and so she goes back in the house, calls 911. She doesn't mention any of the really sinister stuff she does, just that the kids are leaving their junk around. And, she says she almost broke her neck on the roller skate, which is insane.
Sure,
And
Susan.
and by this time, the mother is on her way over. So she knocks on the door, I think 3 times, and, says, like, open up. We got to talk about this. Like, you told them to come get me. I'm here. And she's on the phone with the police. She hangs up. He says, do you want someone to stay on the line with you? Like, do you want a dispatcher to call you? Susan says yes. So she knows the police are on the way. She knows a dispatcher is about to call her. According to Susan, during all this time, she's in the bathroom. She's out of the bathroom. She's losing her phone. She's finding her phone. All these things are happening. And AJ's knocking on the door. And according to the other neighbors, it's like 3 times. According to Susan, it's a million knocks over a million minutes. And through her locked, dead bolted metal door, Susan is so afraid of this woman who just wants to talk to her about the way she's abusing her kids. So she decides to shoot her through this closed, locked door in front of her 2 elementary school age sons.
Yeah. As horrific as it sounds, these kids like go from having and you literally watch these kids' childhood fall apart like in front of you. Like you go from watching these like beautiful, funny, fun
Healthy.
children who are playing outside and being children. You see them go from this to like witnessing someone die and like dealing their mother die at that. And like and you watch and that's what I feel like makes the body cam footage like this is like it becomes so visceral like you like feel like you're there, you can feel like the police officers horror, you can like feel like everyone
Yeah.
just like processing it, her children like the poor boy that literally was the one who went and got his mom having to deal with like
The older boy.
yeah, awful. It's literally awful. You watch the news be broken to her children. It's like it's the most
Oh,
traumatic
it's
shit in the time. It's
so
so
devastating.
awful.
It's like,
And
because when the police find out that AJ, I mean, the ambulance is there, you can hear the neighbors screaming, waving down the ambulance. She's here. She's right here. And it's like just hearing their voices crack because they want
they
to save
know
her
it's
so
so
badly.
awful. It's
I mean, it's a gunshot wound to the chest, so they know. I mean, they put pressure on it, but
and it's clear from the jump that Susan, the evil bitch, is and I hate to and not to be on I hate to call a woman a bitch, but like if ever
sometimes you earn it.
if ever there was one, certainly it's Susan. And like you can tell from the beginning that she knows that she's wrong and she's already like she's so sinister and antisocial that like she is already building her case. Like she makes it seem like she was so scared. Like who's like everyone's like you were between two what like
You were a locked door,
a
a
locked
bolted
door, a
locked door.
bolted locked door.
You couldn't see through it. You have no idea what you were shooting at. Could have
Yeah.
been shooting at the kids for all she
Yeah.
knows.
I feel like she had a pretty good idea. She was definitely shooting at that woman. But like
Absolutely, absolutely.
really makes it seem like yeah, and then we get into it. Then the police
The
show up.
police
This
show
woman
up.
dies. It's awful. Her children have to like process it. It's like it's so sad.
Their dad
And
comes to be with them. Like the police call because their parents are separated, and he says like, "Hey, I think your kids really need somebody right now." And so to
and her
see,
parents come too.
oh, that's right, her mom. And so through the body cam footage, you see her children like hear the news, and it's like, it's just so awful. And I'm sure for a police officer, they probably see this, hopefully not often, but I'm sure they've seen it before. But for me, it was just like,
It seemed like
oh
even
my
the police
God,
officers were
dude.
really like really shook up about it.
Yeah.
Like also
I mean,
like at
it's
this point the police officers know these people. They know that this is just like a crazy woman who harasses children all the time. And
over football.
yeah. And so then she and the prosecutor's office start building their case.
Yeah. So unfortunately, they take Susan at the time of the shooting downtown and they interview her. But Florida, that's why we started talking about Florida in the beginning. If you look up the graphic for the requirements of a jury member, whether you legally have to find somebody guilty or not guilty, regarding the stand your ground law, the chart is absurd. Like it's a little infographic. It just made my blood boil to see it. It's like, reason
Yeah.
you could find somebody has a reasonable doubt
Yeah.
whether their life was in danger, and you still have to find them. It is almost
And other
impossible.
states, I'm sure other states have it, but Florida's is probably the most famous. Me and
Yes.
Shelby like lived through Trayvon Martin being killed, and his killer also used the stand your ground laws, which is basically like this idea that like if you're in fear, if you have a reasonable like if you can prove that you like reasonably had like fear for your life, you can
Doesn't even have to be
literally you
reasonable.
could shoot
If you
someone.
think you were in fear of your life, you can shoot someone. An old man shot a father who was texting his nanny in a movie theater in the chest and was found not guilty under stand your ground. It's like in the movie theater? Doesn't have to be your
Yeah.
property. Like the law is ridiculous. The ridiculous.
So
And
like a lot
so
of people and even like gun rights activists have been like maybe we should look at this just a little bit
maybe
closer.
we should roll that back a little
Yeah.
bit because it seems kind
So
of like carte blanche to kill people. Just an
yeah, it
idea.
seems like people are like it seems like this law, which was like written to like help people protect themselves, is actually just being used to like protect people who are actually guilty as opposed to letting people defend themselves.
People are definitely abusing it and often intentionally so. And so they released Susan because I think the prosecutor's office knows like if we're going to get a conviction on this, it's not going to be easy. AJ's community, there's just such an outpour of support. There's protests, there's, marches, rallies, t-shirts. Like they do a celebration of life for AJ with her kids. And it might actually be my favorite part of the doc. It's towards the end. And there's I think a pastor who is
Yeah, it's Al
speaking.
Sharpton.
That's who it is, directly to her two boys, her children and her daughter, but mostly the two boys with the incident. And there's the boys just have tears pouring down their face. I had tears pouring down my face. Because just to hear him tell those little boys, you have nothing to feel guilty for. Your mom wanted you to live, and she would not let anybody disrespect you because you are a person and you're beautiful. And just, it's everything I wish that I could have said to those little kids who probably have the weight of the world on their shoulders right now?
Yeah, it's horrific. It's horrific what she did to them. Like the fact that she did it at all is awful, but like I don't know. She shot through a she could have shot a child. Like she could have literally killed one of the children.
Easily.
Like it was just the and like it clearly is someone who is like driven by rage. And like that's why I think it's so important that they tell the story of her ramming her truck because like clearly she is a woman who like has very little control over her emotions.
She's
And
got nothing
so
going on.
yeah. So I mean if you're that enraged that you're going to ruin your own property like because you feel wronged, it's just the she just yeah. And so
She's a cow.
she starts building her case around these stand your ground laws. She really like it's clear that she's Googled it. Okay.
She's
If this was
researching.
2025, she asked Chat GPT, hey chat, how do I get like how do I use stand your ground laws to defend myself if I've done this? And like it's so clear that she looked up what is necessary to defend yourself, understand your ground laws, and is like making sure she has all of that down. Because she's a very
That's
calculated person.
Yeah, and you can tell like they also I really love this. They show some of the footages from the interview room and they show you the two interviews we have with Susan. The first one is the night she's arrested. They release her. Anytime she returns to the property, she has a police escort and the neighbors are outside.
Because she's a
Let
coward. She's a
Yes,
coward, okay? Because she knows they would rock her shit if she came
and the
back alive.
neighbors admit that to the police. And one of the male police officers says to this woman who I love, I can't remember her name, but she's fantastic. He says to her like, "Hey, why don't you just calm down and make my life easier?" And she goes, "Your life? You think I'm here to make
Yeah.
your effing life
She
easier
wouldn't
after
have she
what you
wouldn't if
let
she would not
happen?
have left that neighborhood I don't know.
Just
Who's to
insane. So
say, you know?
she's threatening Susan in front of the cops, and the cops are like,
True textbook hood justice, okay?
and her own nephew, who's like 6, is standing there with presumably Susan's sister, and he says like guns kill
He
people. It's the
literally, the
only thing
little
he
6 year old
says.
is like, guns are dangerous, bro. Just saying. The 6 year
Just
old is
saying,
like,
like
just saying. I just want to put that out there, okay?
insanity,
And like,
insanity.
like if a 6 year old can understand it and Susan can't, it's like, what are we doing here, Susan?
So seeing her free is just so
It's
enraging to the
jarring to see her
community.
out.
It is. And so they're at City Hall. They're demanding answers from the detectives, like they are in the police's
And she
grill.
finally moves, okay? What
Thank
she finally does what she
what
should
she
have
should have
done.
started
What
doing.
she should have
Yes.
done in the first place, she moves. Turns out she's capable of it and has people
Yes.
who can help her do it. Like
Turns out
act
she just wanted to be a pain in the ass.
crazy. Just crazy stuff. Like it's just she's such an upsetting person. Like, we've covered some villains on this pod, but she is perhaps the most villainous. And I've been saying this, it started with Simran when we did My Sweet Bobby or Sweet Bobby. Then there was the mother from the catfish, and now we have Susan. And they're just
Now we have
getting through.
Susan.
I don't know what we're gonna have next, but
I know who could be worse than freaking Susan,
maybe a
man.
serial killer. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, we already did Scream, but I mean, at least he was hot.
Yeah. At least Ghostface has charisma. This woman doesn't.
Exactly. At least
Okay.
she's funny. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, she's not funny. So they
Susan
show
would
her
have hated
interview.
Ghostface.
Oh, Ghostface would have loved Susan. Truly. For her second interview, they tell her, like, we're just having you down here to come speak with us a little bit informally. But, the police have received all this pressure from the community. And also, I'm sure they were taking their time to build the case. Um, and they're ready to have Susan back. So they don't tip Susan off in any way that this is anything but another interview. And I realized when I was watching it that I'd actually seen the footage before. Her incident, what's about to happen, went completely viral a couple of months ago before the doc even came out, just because. So the police asked her to go over her version of events, her timeline regarding when AJ started knocking on the door, when she called the police the first time, and when she called the police the second time. So after she shoots AJ, she also calls the police. There's calls from all the people in the neighborhood and also from Susan herself admitting what's just happened and making excuses for herself. And so they ask her to construct a timeline. How long do you think it was between the first phone call when you were told the police are en route, just hang in there, and when you actually pulled the trigger? And she's talking about, in the bathroom, washing her hands, looking to see who's at the door, allegedly shouting, go away, and allegedly hearing, which AJ never said, I'm going to kill you. That's a big part of Susan's case for her self-defense, is that she heard that. And so she estimates about
Also,
10 minutes.
I feel like we've left out the fact that you do hear from AJ, and AJ is always at home in her house because she has a baby. Okay, I just want to put that out there that like we're talking about like a mother of 4 and like has a
Hmm.
baby, is home all the time. Clearly not someone who seems like particularly combative or confrontational. In fact, if she was super confrontational, you'd think she'd be out there every single time the cops came, but she's not because she's at home with her baby and is so like you can tell that like she's really doesn't want to be in it. Like you can tell she really did not want any of this drama. And so like the idea of her like going from like this being a mother of a young child busy all the time to like suddenly being some like a person who would even threaten to kill someone is crazy.
And she works full time. They said she's a manager at a local McDonald's. That's
Yeah,
a
she's
great
busy.
job.
She's
And they
busy.
said she's like Mrs. Mom, always rearranging her schedule to be with the kids. Like, girl, she does not have time to be out here in the mess with Susan.
Yeah.
So when she went over there, she was like, we're going to get this settled because I
Yeah,
can't be having
exactly.
you mess with my kids all the time like this. And it is all the time. It's ridiculous. It's so sad. So Susan's putting together this timeline of, when she first started interacting with the boys. She estimates it took about 10 minutes. The most satisfying part, perhaps, is when the police officer is like, well, we have all that information recorded, and I understand that maybe it felt like 10 minutes, but the truth, because there's only one reality where time exists,
Yep.
and
And
it's
I loved when they finally clocked her tea. This, you finally get a detective that is like clearly so over her shit and
he's
is
toe to
so,
toe.
he's literally like, okay, like you, I get it. You killed a woman. So it's time for us to like come back
Let's talk
into,
about
let's talk
that.
about real life right now, Susan. Okay.
Yes. Like,
So,
let's talk about how you could not possibly have been in fear for your life because nobody else heard these alleged murder threats. 2 minutes had passed. You knew the police were coming. Why didn't you just wait? Like, there's a million things you could have done. You didn't even look at the door. You have no idea what you're shooting at. And stand your ground is a big old protective blanket to let a lot of people get away with stuff they shouldn't. But like, it's not a get out of jail free card, literally, no matter what. And so
and the trial shows that.
she's one of the only people that they tell her we are going to go ahead and charge you with. I actually don't remember the charge. I believe it was
And
second
I,
degree
and I
murder.
feel like they do hinge it on the fact that if the door wasn't closed, perhaps maybe she could have gotten away
Maybe
with it. But the idea that she's behind a bolted, locked door, which
she's so
gives
cowardly. Like,
the door's not being banged down. Okay, the door simply was knocked on. Like like the fact that she's behind a closed door and then does this, I think, is what made the prosecutors be like, all right, like
okay, come on now.
how afraid for your life can you really be behind a bolted door? Come
No,
on.
exactly, exactly. And so he lets her know, like, I'm sure this was extremely shocking to Susan because she never expected to face consequences. This, so he lets her know, what's gonna happen now is you're gonna stand up, we're gonna put these cuffs on you, and we're gonna get you booked. And she's like, no. And he's like,
Yeah.
what do you mean no? And she's like, no, and she's like, she's apologizing now. She's like, I'm sorry, I can't do any of that. Like, that sounds uncomfortable. And to be fair, I've always wondered, and I'm sure if the cameras weren't rolling, it would have been handled very differently.
And the
But
detective, I'm pretty sure, is like, there are 4 children right now that no longer have a mother because of you. Because of you.
oh
Like,
yeah, she has the opportunity to write them a letter
yeah.
expressing like
Oh, she
any
writes,
remorse.
the letter is clearly part of her big ploy to get out of.
The letter's insane.
Yeah.
Like, the last line in the letter is like, I didn't mean to kill your mom. I shot out of fear. It's like, let me just go ahead and tell you that those kids don't give one single crap about why
It's like
you shot their mom.
those kids were there. They know you
Like,
weren't that scared. The children were there, Susan. They were there.
you're gonna try to convince these kids they didn't see what they saw. Like,
Crazy. The
just
kid.
in unbelievable. Like, if that happened to me in any universe, my letter would just be, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. You know what I mean? Not me being like, well, this is why I did it. Like, those kids don't want to hear
No,
why.
she said, "Let me write you this letter that I know will be presented in court. Okay, here's what I'm gonna say in it." So
I'm
yeah,
gonna use my best handwriting. And it takes her like 2 minutes, and then she goes back to drinking her water, and it's like, whatever.
yeah.
So they take about like 8 minutes to arrest her because she's just like, that's not gonna happen, and I won't go with you, and I can't. And the detective is like, Susan, I've had people do horrible things and sit in your chair, and they still get up and they put on the cuffs and they go down to the station so we can take your picture and do the fingerprinting. And she's like, I don't know about any of that, but no. I'm like the last person to advocate for prison. I don't think it makes people better. Um, but yeah, I can't think of a single other place for this woman to be other than a jail cell until she dies.
Her little ploy to everyone sees through it because it's so obviously contrived. And everyone's like, until she is,
She's not
and
that good an actor.
no, she's in prison for murder because she is a murderer. And she stole a mother from her children, and these children had to live with perhaps one of the most horrific things that can ever happen to someone, which is watching the person you love most die in front of you. And these children have to carry that weight for the rest of their lives because of Susan. So, yeah, that's all. I'm still not over it. I'll never be over it. How can you get
I'm
over
not
it?
over it. I think everybody should watch it. It's a beautiful documentary and a
Yeah.
really innovative way to tell the story. I hope that's something we see more of. Because I really did feel very in the moment. And it was very emotional. Like, I watched it twice. I cried both times. Like, it was
Yeah.
just, I really felt that outpour of like love and support for AJ.
Yeah, and I thought the story was like really told with such empathy for the community and the children. and like you really get to know them. You love them by the end, and you hate Susan by the end. And of course, you're gonna hate Susan regardless. But
That's
I
great
really,
storytelling, baby.
it was so human. It could be any neighborhood. It could have been any of us, like and so yeah,
Yeah,
still not over it. But thanks for joining
not
us.
over it.
We highly recommend watching it because obviously we can never fully encapsulate a full documentary in our little kiki that we have here. But thank
But
you.
thanks for joining us. We're not over it.
We're not over it.
Tune in next week. It's
Who
gonna
knows
be a
what we'll
good
be
one.
talking about? But you should join us.
I'll be
Toodles.
there.
I'll be there.
Bye.
Bye.